Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager for HAR, and this is our first Member Focus Monday of the year. So welcome to 2020, everyone. I do want to say before we get started and I introduce our first guest of the year that this Member Focus Monday is sponsored by Drees Custom Homes. They have been developing luxury home communities in the Houston area for over 30 years. So we'll talk about them again towards the end. But good morning, John.
Well, good morning, Christina. Hope you had a great weekend.
Yes, it was a wonderful weekend, a wonderful holiday season, too. So this morning's guest is our 2020 Chair of the Board, John Nugent. John, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Well, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a new year. We're starting off, I think, very well. I've been in the real estate business since 1970. I'm a real estate broker associate with Remax Space Center down in Clear Lake. And so I'm looking forward to a good year, and it's going to be exciting. There are a lot of changes that are happening in our industry, and I'm excited to be part of it.
Absolutely. And just so our members can get to know you just a little bit more, you're with Remax Space Center down in the Clear Lake area. You said earlier you've been in the business how many years? 50 years?
I got into business in 1970 when I got out of the Army, so this will have been, I'll be completing my 50th year in the real estate business.
And you're a second generation realtor?
I am. My mother got into the business in the late 60s, and I followed when I got out of the Army in 1970. I started with a company here in Houston called LaGuardia, Gravel and Bowling, which is a commercial real estate company. And I'm very sad to report that my good friend Julio LaGuardia died the other day. And so he was a special mentor for me, and I'm going to miss him.
Yeah, and our condolences to Julio's family. But he did install you in the.
He did install me as the 2020 chair of HAR, and I consider that just the highest honor I could ever have, and
Absolutely.
So forth. And so.
Well, thank you again so much for being here. I do have plenty of questions here for John, but if you have questions as we're going through, go ahead and type them into the comments, and we'll get to those in just a little bit. So I'm just curious again a little bit more about your background and why you chose to get involved with HAR. Why did you decide to run for the board?
Well, as I said, I've been in the real estate business for going on 50 years.
Yeah.
And I've always served. Came out of the Army in 1970 and got into real estate. And after I got my feet on the ground within a couple of years, I was serving in the association. But at that time, in the Clear Lake area, there was another board in that area, and it was called the North NASA Board of Realtors, and then became the Bay Area Board of Realtors. So I was involved with that board, which morphed in names over the years. And in 1999, I was the president of the Bay Area Board of Realtors. So I've always been involved, and I helped orchestrate the merger with HAR back in that period of time. And so I've always been involved in our real estate industry. And when the opportunity came to run for the board at HAR, I did so. And so I've served a couple of terms as director. And then I decided to run for the executive committee.
Yeah.
So.
Which is also wonderful that we have our branch down in the Clear Lake area for members in the area that can go there and take classes and take advantage of the super center, get membership needs and things like that. So it's wonderful that we have that.
That is neat that we have that there. There were three boards that merged at that time together with HAR. The Bay Area was one of the boards, Montgomery County was another board, and Fort Bend was the third one. So we all agreed when we merged with HAR that we would maintain an office in those areas, and we have done that, and it served our members very well in all the areas. So.
Very good. So why did you decide to run for the executive committee?
I decided to run for the executive committee because I had served as a director for 2 terms. And I was still looking to serve, and I just wanted to move up a little bit and see what I could contribute as a member of the executive committee. And so I've learned a lot, and I think I've contributed a little bit, and it's been a good move, a good ride, and so forth. And so I look forward to this year being the chairman and helping guide our association as we move forward.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about the market. We just came off of a record year, another record year. It seems like we say that almost every year now. What do you expect for 2020 in the real estate market?
Well, I expect that we're going to have a good market. It's going to be difficult, I think, to continue the upward trajectory that we've been on in the real estate market. But I think we're going to have a good year. There's some variables in there in the marketplace. Interest rates are still remaining really low, and so that's helping the market. We're going to struggle with affordable inventory of homes out there. And so I think we'll still have a good year.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We've had a few guests come on lately to talk about just affordability and things like that. And it's wonderful to hear that there are some builders that are focused on that. Have you seen that in the areas that you represent clients?
Well, I've seen some of that. Of course, most of these builders want to build in areas where they gain the most profit off of the construction. So the starter home is not the area where they benefit the most, but there is some of that. And so, but going forward, we're going to struggle with this issue of affordability, and we need to address that issue.
And it's really important for realtors to be aware of different programs that they can assist their clients with.
Well, that's for sure. We need to know what's out there. We need to be able to counsel our clients on what's best for them going forward. And so we need to be aware of all those programs that are out there.
Very good. So you mentioned that you want to guide our membership in this year and help us keep moving forward. What are some of your goals for 2020? What are things that you would like to see happen as the chair?
Well, I would like to expand the outreach. We have 3 areas that we serve now: Bay Area, Montgomery County, and Fort Bend. But our membership is growing, and I would like to expand our services out a little further and give our memberships more opportunities to hear what is happening in the real estate industry and be closer to the board areas that we serve.
Absolutely. So not just for classes, but just maybe informative things and industry updates.
Industry updates, and it could be outreach in terms of just area lunches in different areas to keep area realtors in those areas that are a little further out informed as to what's going on.
Very good. And you're actually speaking at an area luncheon this week, are you not?
I am.
Yeah.
So my first one.
First one.
Wednesday.
Yeah, very good. So if you guys want John to come out to your area, just reach out. We're going to fill up your calendar.
Well, I'm sure you will.
Very good. So speaking about the industry, we all know that 2019, we saw a lot of shifts in the industry. Our president and CEO, Bob Hale, his presentation at HAR Engage was called Shift Happens, right? There were so many shifts, changes, new entrance into the market. What do you see happening in 2020, and maybe what are your thoughts on what happened in 2019?
Well, we have seen a lot of shift in the marketplace. We've seen shifts throughout our country in various things, and we're going to continue to see more shifting as things change with technology. So I think we're just going to see more of the same. We need to keep the consumer informed. It's the consumer that drives the bus. And so we need to keep the consumer informed as to what we offer and how we can best serve them.
Very good. So if you have any questions for our 2020 Chair of the Board, John Nugent, go ahead and type them in to the comments. I'm going to go ahead and check just a second to see if we have anything. A lot of people telling you good morning. Marie said that she's looking forward to you joining them at the HAR 290 area networking luncheon on Wednesday. So yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions for John, go ahead and type them in. So just curious, John, you've been in the business 50 years, as you said. What would you recommend to a new agent, maybe just getting into the business, or maybe somebody who's kind of switching from part-time to full-time? what are your recommendations for a newer agent just getting started in this current market environment?
Well, there are several things that I think I would recommend. Is one, the new agent needs to build their database. They need to know who they can comfortably represent out there and who would be somebody that they would need to put on the back burner for future real estate business. I would encourage the new agents to take all the new classes they can to educate themselves on contracts, to educate themselves on various marketing programs that are available to them, and educate themselves on the financing that's available for their consumers.
Okay, very good. So I don't see any other questions. Do you have any other message or anything you want to share with our members?
Well, I would just like to share with our members that this is going to be a good year. We need to up our game plan. We need to know what our value proposition is, and we need to go out and serve our consumers the best we can.
Absolutely. That value proposition, I feel like I maybe said that 100 times last year at least, right? Because it's so important for people to know what their value proposition is, have a clear stated value proposition, because like you said, if we don't state our value to the consumers, they don't know any different, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, we need to state it, because if we don't, they won't know.
Very good. All right. Well, that looks like it is it. I don't see any other questions coming in. John, this has been very wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us and letting us get to know you a little bit better and starting off our year right.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning.
Very good. So just a reminder, today's Member Focus Monday was sponsored by Drees Custom Homes. Drees has been building luxury communities in the Houston area for over 30 years, and you can check out more information about them on their website. We will be back next week with our President and CEO, Bob Hale, that we mentioned earlier, so he'll be joining us next week, so be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place. Have a great week. Bye-bye.